The art of being present. If you have a good life, you're in heaven on earth. The warrior in you stop the endless chatter in your head. So how do you get into that zone? How do you bring yourself into the present moment? That one breath right there, be aware of and mindful of it, you're in the present moment. So, and how do you get out the addiction that turn off your thoughts to understand that you are not your mind, you are not your thoughts? So the real you, most of us have been conditioned to think that is our mind, is who we are, that are past to find what we will be forever. So the condition that we think in our mind is who we are, that are past to find what we will be forever. However, if you want the cleaning number one, listen to your thoughts, because you're not separated from your thought as well too. But you got to make the decision from your heart, because you yourself, your thoughts, the good and the bad, the right or wrong, the right or the wrong, you are not being, and let them pass without claiming or justifying or rejecting it. Just let it come and let it go. Rejecting, you will find yourself no longer identifying with yourself. So it's also not yourself if you're not identifying that thoughts with yourself. So the you right now is what make who you are at this very moment in time, space, reality, your mind, your conscious. As Archer Tolle, he mentioned about the right of higher level of consciousness, joy, inner peace arise from beyond. And I totally agree with him that everything rises beyond our own well grasp or understanding. And it's everything around you in this moment is the surrounding. It's our body as well, the element of earth, wind, fire, and water. In the first exercises, that when we move the body, we need to warm our body up so that the heat inside our body when it's cold. So that's just, judging from the experience, and just experience them yourself, you will see what I mean, that we are part of this whole universe, this cosmic, this here, that we are together, realizing that the past, the present, and the moment is all in this time right now. So that's why I mentioned timelessness, meaning it's timeless, it's the time is now, that we are in this moment. So there is no path. The next time you see a tree, you look around, see its shapes, the branches, and then the flower will bloom. The story of this old man who was sitting on his couch, I remember the story goes, he's sitting on a box, and as a stranger passed by, he asks, do you have something to give? And the person said, I have nothing to give you. And likewise, sometimes we just have nothing to give, but give them but our love, our heart. And so then the stranger point out, there's nothing there. But then he said, look in there. And then as the man who sat on there, he opened it up, and as he opened the lid, with astonishment, disbelief, and elation, he saw this parable lay out the very essence of human suffering. We are always looking externally, the outdoor, outside of ourselves, without seeing that the problem is inside ourselves. So we don't need to look for external validation or security or love, but everything that you are of love is within you and would ever be you. And you don't need to be discomfort too much. And that's why we help others, those who we see that are in need, outside in the street. We give them shelter, food, we give them blanket, clothes to warm up, we give them cash for food to the homeless and those who stand in the cold. And that's just a choice, but suffering is not a choice. There's two types of suffering. One is fear, which derive from our thoughts of the future, what's awful scenario that might play, and it might not even happen. So that's why we stay present as possible, even though our situation is very unforeseen. And it also played another psychologically pain, which is derived from negative thoughts of our past as well too, that may affect the present moment as we're living in. So it's still healing. So we're just walking. I'm just gonna walk here. So as we're living in the present moment, and we have to see that we're living here, we may not believe what will happen ahead. Believe it, then go ahead and give it a try right now, and know that life is all is well in the world. We gotta trust that and believe it as we intricately living here together, working together, and we can sleep sound. Stop thoughts from sleeping in your conscious. Not sleeping, I mean seeping in your conscious. That thought is not good. Just make sure what is good, keep that. If something's negative, don't let it seep in. So when you're at that stopping point of thinking, how do you also stop the endless chatter from reoccurring? And that's sometimes that we all need to figure out on our own. And if it's something good or bad, if it's something that we need to let it out, break down, cry, let out the tears, a little bit of just do some exercise, releasing that dopamine, releasing serotonin, just all this brain chemical. And when you release the toxic, when you cry, release from happy joy, tears, or whatever it is, that is also something that is something that is real within you when you tears, and that is something that is intimate and have been conditioned that we want to release. And the thoughts that we think that is our mind is who we are, that our past to find that we will be forever. But our thoughts, but that's not it. We're not just the thoughts. We are more than thoughts. But we have to figure out which thought is good, God, and which thought is not so good that we want to follow. And to be selfless, self-sacrifices, that's what we do. And with ourselves, merely the ego is a very peculiar thing, and it is a survival mechanism that will do whatever it takes. So as we are not in the primitive state, we give more than what we have sometimes, and it's okay, I guess. And whatever it is to protect our human species, so it can live a little bit better, lift them up from pain, suffering, and ease. And who wouldn't want to do that, right? Many people get upset when then their identity and it get broken. However, if you understand that you are not your thoughts, you detach from it. But we do not want to detach from what is not, what is good. We don't want to really detach from what is good. We want to sustain what is good. And within ourselves, we sometimes may have the limited belief of the ego mind that is ceaselessly working survival tool. So as one feel the connection with all human being, that selfless, self-sacrifice, it is inevitable that within the heart, all this organ are part of are no more aware of their effect as well too. I will repeat that again. Our heart and our organ, the way we breathe, is not much different than all sentient beings, and we can even sometimes see that is exactly what it is. It's our intellectual as a human being. So no pointing finger, and just have love. I'm gonna end it here with peace of mind and love of heart. Thank you for viewing.